In our last update, we wanted to see price move up to tap the monthly pivot, which was just above $112,000, to potentially see a reversal to the downside. And below us, we had one very important support level, which was around $109,700. And if you go through the charts, what happened is that we moved into the monthly pivot, we got the rejection down to our support level, and we are now seeing a very strong bounce to the upside. So as usual, before we dive into today's price action and what you can potentially expect next, let's quickly recap what I personally did. So if you remember in our last update, I was already in a long position from $109,500. And the reason for that was because, as outlined in Monday's live stream, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a move up to tap the monthly pivot and to fill this ugly wick at $111,500. And as we saw, that's exactly what happened. We got the move into this level and we got rejection to the downside. Now for the short position, this one was a bit more complicated to take. As you can see, by the way, I was very patient, even when we had two early imbalances and very nice wicks. Personally, I still wanted to see the pivot tap. And as we just saw, that's exactly what happened. Okay, so we got the breakout and we tapped the pivot. But at this point, I was looking for short position. However, we didn't really have any reaction. We had broken these highs with a nice imbalance and price was simply going sideways. So all that I wanted to see in order to open a short position was to lose the previous highs around $111,800, and at this point we would be looking at a failed auction. But unfortunately, the loss of these highs, okay, to me it happened right there. So this happened after the daily open, and at this point I was asleep, so I simply missed that short position. But if we go back over to the charts, I do want to talk about this reaction a bit more in depth because it is important to understand in my opinion. So at first, again, we got the breakout, we got the imbalance, and at this point, price was simply going sideways. Okay, so you had the first high, you got the retest of the previous highs, and you got another bounce to the upside. So I do have to be honest, if I wanted to be aggressive on my short position, I do believe that the right short to take was right there, because what happened, you moved up, you formed this initial range, okay, so you had the high and you had the low. So when you come up back into the high and you have a failed auction, once again, if I wanted to be aggressive, this is where I would have opened my short position, and it did offer a very nice drop to the downside. So that's a quick recap on what happened on this high. I don't believe that on this first move you want to open a short. The right short, in my opinion, was offered right there, but again, that's hindsight analysis, so take it for what it is. But in any case, the prediction was perfect. We wanted to see the move up into the monthly pivot and we got the rejection to the downside. And after that, it was very simple. The very interesting area was still around $109,700, and I did change it to an area which was this one. And that's what I wanted to see, a drop into it to potentially see a bounce to the upside. And what happened? We dropped into it. I remained patient. At this point, you did have an imbalance at a bit of a reaction, but I still believe that price wanted to search for more lows. That's when I sent it. As you can see, we did continue lower to search for more lows. We did. I added to my long position, okay, because I was still in this long position from $109,500. So I simply added to my long position when we got back around my entry. We got this very nice reversal, and at this point, all you had to do was reclaim $110,800. And as you know, this did end up happening. We got a very nice bounce to the upside. I am in this long position and I haven't implemented a take profit one yet. Very simply because I already took profits on this first long position, and also I am expecting higher prices. So back to the charts, what can you expect next? Well, today, to the downside, we have one very important level to hold. And to me, that would be this order block and early imbalance that we have just around $111,300. Okay, so we have the imbalance, we have the order block. It is important to maintain above the daily open in my opinion, but also if you take the volume profile from the all-time high to today, what you will see is that you have the point of control right inside this area. So that's why today, if price wants to move higher, this level is extremely important to hold. I don't think that it's the best level to trade around, because if we come back into it, this would already be a sign of weakness in my opinion, but still we could jump into it and potentially see a reversal to the upside. But again, if you jump into it, this would already be a bit of a sign of weakness in my opinion. Now to the upside, as long as we can maintain above this area, what I'm looking for is this area around $115,000. What do we have there? We have two already imbalances, so we have this one and we have this one. We have a 4-hour imbalance, we have a 12-hour order block, and if you go back to the volume profile once again, if you take the volume profile of the downtrend, what you will see is that we have a lot of volume traded in this area. Okay, so if you take it a bit more back maybe, okay, so we have the point of control in this area. And that's why it's so important, because if you move up into it, okay, so let's go back on the hourly. So if you can move up into it and you see a rejection, then this can offer a short position, in my opinion, for a much bigger reversal to the downside. However, if you break above it, this would be a very big sign of strength in my opinion. And what I would look for next would be a move towards at least $120,000, okay? And that's why this area is so important. You have a lot of confluence, okay? And right now, as long as price can remain above $111,300, I would still expect it to get reached. And with all of that said, that was mainly it for this update. Very simple. We have one support level below us that you can trade around. Personally, again, I don't want to trade around it. If you lose it, probably I will take some profits on my long position, and this would be a big sign of weakness to expect much lower prices. However, as long as you maintain above it, I would expect to move towards around $115,000. If you get a rejection, this can offer a very nice short position, and if you break above it, then of course you can expect to move, at least in my opinion, towards $120,000. Personally, I am in a long position. I haven't taken profits yet because I have taken profits on this first long position. I am still expecting higher prices unless we lose this very important area. So as usual, if you guys enjoyed this update, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.